So again, welcome to week 7. So the topic for week 7 is only the course unit 2. So it is just a recapitulation of search and arrest, which means, di ba, napag-aralan nyo na ang search and arrest sa mismong fundamentals of investigation. Also, minsan sa criminal justice system na pag-aaralan ay nagiging topic din yan sa CGS, sa CLO 112. So, course unit is all about recapitulation of search and arrest, and then into the difference of theft and robbery. So, let's start. So, the topics to be discussed is arrest, search, raid, custodial investigation, transnational organized crime. Hindi ko na ito i-discuss kasi na-discuss na sa inyo. Diba? And then, we have theft and robbery investigation. So, arrest. What is the definition of arrest? As we all know, it is the taking of a person into custody in order that he may be bound to answer for the commission of an offense. I already remember, alam ko kayo din yung students ko sa CLO 112. Tama po ba? So, napag-aralan nyo na ang arrest, search, and seizure. Diba? Pinag-iba ng search, seizure, and arrest. So, how made? Paano ba nangyayari or paano nagkakandak tayo ng arrest? Arrest is made by an actual restraint of a person to be arrested or by his submission to the custody. Pero dalawa ang pagiging arrest. Diba? Arrest can be made in 2 ways. Pwedeng huhulihin siya, diba? Or siya mismo ang susuko. Okay, again, pwede siyang hulihin or siya mismo ang susuko. So, an arrest is made by actual restraint of a person to be arrested or by his submission to the custody of the person making the arrest. What is necessary? Sabi nga niya, no violence or unnecessary force shall be used in making an arrest. Kaya di ba meron kayong karapatan? So, the person arrested shall not be subject to greater restraint than is necessary for his detention. So, kapag kunwari, sumasama naman ng matinuyong tao sa inyo, therefore, walang dapat violence na magaganap, walang bugbugan na nagaganap. Kasi, di ba, dyan nahuhuli yung mga pulis. So, hulihin na lang, babarilin pa. Imbis na hulihin na lang, di ba? So, sabi nga niya, how made, arrest should be made with unnecessary force or no violence unless otherwise kailangan. Kapag ang hinuhuli ng mga pulis, yan talaga naglalaban, may weapon, dun ka palang pwedeng magbigay ng reasonable force for acting a restraint in the made of arrest. So, what is the duty of arresting officer? It shall be the duty of the officer accused executing the warrant of arrest to the accused and to deliver him to the nearest police station or jail without unnecessary delay. Ano ang trabaho mo? As a police officer or arresting officer, kailangan mong dalhin, okay? I-execute mo ng tama ang arrest. Kaya nga meron tayong procedure sa arrest without unnecessary delay. Kasi alam nyo, kapag na-late kang magdala niyan sa presinto or sa police na pagdadala nyo, meron ka pang kaso as an arresting officer. Okay? Execution of warrant. Just a review. Sige nga, sino ang nag-execute ng warrant of arrest? Sino ang nagbibigay?
Judge po.
Judge. And it can be executed with how many days? Warrant of arrest.
Unlimited po, ma'am.
Ha?
Unlimited po. Pero i-report po sa judge yung 10 days.
10 days. Unlimited siya. Okay, ganito siya. Na-expire ng warrant of arrest kapag nahuli mo na ang na-aresto or yung mismong offender. Ngayon, bakit siya may 10 days? For example, na-execute na yan ng judge, so within 10 days, diba? Therefore, kailangan mong mag-report after 10 days. Pero it doesn't mean na after 10 days, expired na siya. You just need to report to the executing judge na kung ano na ang nangyari dun sa warrant of arrest. Okay? Mag-e-expired lang po ang warrant of arrest kapag ang offender ay na-arrest na.
Na-arrest
po ba? Naintindihan?
Yes po.
Next.
Yes po.
Arrest without warrant when lawful. Sige nga, if natatandaan nyo pa, what are the warrantless arrests? Yung tatlo? Review na lang yan.
Caught on the act.
If it is in flagrante delicto or it is caught in the act. Next is Ano yung isa?
Hot pursuit.
Doctrine of hot pursuit. Ibig sabihin naman, paano yung doctrine of hot pursuit? Paano yung doctrine of hot pursuit? Ano pinagkaiba niya sa flagrante delicto? In flagrante delicto, di ba? When in his presence, di ba, the person to be arrested has committed, actually committing, or attempting to commit an offense. Parang nasa presence niya, nakikita niya na gagawin pa lang niya. Past, present, or future, di ba? Kagagawa pa lang. Or ginagawa niya. Diba? Yun ang inflagrante dito. Nakita mo talaga. You are present. Paano naman yung doctrine of hot pursuit? Doctrine of hot pursuit, hindi mo nakita. But, you have the personal
Probable.
belief that there is a probable cause na ginawa niya ngayon. Tama po, di ba? Ano pinagkaiba ng doctrine of hot pursuit? Nakita mo ba ang doctrine of hot pursuit? Nakita mo? Hindi.
Yes po.
Ay, hindi mo nakita ang
Hindi.
crime.
Hindi po ma'am. Pero meron po siyang probable
Pero
possibility
meron siyang personal knowledge or parang meron siyang personal belief na siya ang gumawa nun. Paano pinagkaiba nila? Okay? Ito kasi madalas, napakadali lang ng principle na to pero nakakalimutan ng lahat. Kapag in flagrante delicto, always remember, caught in the act, it means nakita nyo talaga.
No.
Diba? Nakita nyo ng, nakita nyo siya ng gagawin pa lang niya, diba? Ginagawa niya at kakatapos lang niyang gawin. That is in flagrante delicto. Okay? Paano naman yung tinatawag natin doctrine of hot pursuit? So, ganito ang doctrine of hot pursuit, ha? Ang doctrine of hot pursuit, hindi mo siya nakita. Paano lang niya sinasabi na doctrine of hot pursuit siya? Ibig sabihin, for example, sabihin mo nang nasa building A ka. May nangyari na crime sa building B. Okay? May nangyari na crime sa building B. No, ngayon, biglang nasa building A ka, merong dumaan. Merong dumaan na dugaan, may hawak na kutsilyo. Tapos naririnig mo, nagsisigawan sila doon ng tulong-tulong. Ikaw na nakita mo dumadaan yung may kutsilyo na duguan. Okay, huhulihin mo siya as an arresting officer. Bakit? I-apply mo yung tinatawag nating doctrine of hot pursuit. Ang tanong, nakita mo ba yung crime na ginawa nung tumatakbo?
Hindi po.
Pero you just have a personal knowledge or personal belief of the facts na siya ang gumawa. Naintindihan? Kaya nga sabi niya, doctrine of hot pursuit kasi malamang sa malamang yung crime na yan kakatapos lang. Kaya nga hot pursuit. Ibig sabihin, bago pa lang yung case. Though hindi mo nakita, but you have the personal facts or personal knowledge na ginawa yun ng isang tao. Intindihan? Yun ang pinagkaiba ng flagrante delicto at doctrine of hot pursuit. And the last one, syempre, what is the arrest without warrant? Syempre, yung mga escape prisoner. Syempre, yan kahit walang warrant or warrant of arrest yan, once you are an escapee, talagang kailangan kang hulihin. Diba? So, next. Sabi nga niya dito, in cases falling under paragraph A and B, above the person arrested without warrant shall be forthwith delivered to the nearest police station or jail and shall be proceeded against in accordance with Section 7 of Rule 1112. Okay, kapag, for example, ayan, kapag arrest without warrant, ano ang ginagawa natin? Ano binibigay natin sa kanila? For example, na-aresto yung isang tao ng walang warrant of arrest. Anong ibibigay nating investigation ang bibigay sa kanila?
Inquest procedure po, ma'am.
Inquest procedure. Very good. So, natututo naman pala kayo tawag dito, naturo na yan ng mismong CJS, tapos mauulit yan sa inyong criminal procedure. Okay. Search and seizure. Again nga, ano ang pinagkaiba ng search and seizure? Naalala ko, pinagkaiba ko yan nung Claw 112 nyo eh. What is the difference between search and a seizure? Seizure po, mama. Daan yan eh. Ano pinagkaiba ng search and seizure? Kapag search, ito yung kausap ba ako? Ano pinagkaiba nito? Search at saka seizure. Ha? Ano ang pinagkaiba ng search and seizure? Kapag search, ito yung paghahanap. Tama? How about seizure? Ito yung
Lilinis.
Confiscate.
pagkuha. Okay, again, sa tama. Kapag search, ito yung hinahanap mo pa lang. And seizure, ito na yung pag-take or pag-confiscate mo dun sa isang bagay. Kaya siya sinabing search and seizure. Naku, nakakalimut na. Yung mga tinuro sa kanilang first year. So, search, sabi niya. So, when you say search, it is an examination of individuals, persons, house, paper, or effects, other buildings and premises, to discover contraband or some evidence of guilt to be used in the prosecution of criminal actions. Again, when we say search, it is an examination of pwedeng sa ikaw mismo, individual, or pwedeng yung bahay or any building. Anong purpose mo in conducting search? In order for you to discover a contraband or an evidence of guilt. So, what is a search warrant? So, a search warrant, it is an order issued in the name of the people of the Philippines, signed by a judge and directed to a peace officer, commanding him to search for personal property described therein and bring it before the court. Ang tanong, sino ulit ang nagbibigay ng search warrant?
Judge po.
Si judge.
Judge
Meron bang, expiration date?
Days.
Kapag po nahuli na
Meron
yung
po. Pag nahuli na namin yung
What?
offender,
10
Magkaiba
days.
ang search warrant sa warrant of arrest. Ang sinasabi nyo kapag nahuli na ang offender, that is warrant of arrest. Wala po tayong offender sa search warrant. Okay, ang sa search
Gamit
warrant,
po yun, ma'am.
diba? Ang search
Gamit
warrant,
ng
Hindi siya tayo.
object.
Hindi siya
Nasa
na.
loob po ng bahayan, ma'am.
Tama. So therefore, magkaiba. Ang sinasabi nyo kasi yung warrant of arrest eh. Wala. Okay? Magkaiba po ang search warrant sa warrant of arrest. Kapag warrant of arrest, hinuhuli mo tao. Kapag search warrant, you are partaking to an evidence, to an object. Diba? To a thing. Pwede siyang, tinatawag nating, contraband, sabi nga niya. Again ha, baka nalilito pa rin kayo sa search warrant at saka warrant of arrest. Kaya tinatanong ko, search warrant, meron bang expiration date ang search warrant?
Yes po, ma'am, 10 days po.
Yes, 10 days. Ito talaga yung may 10 days na expiration
Expiration po,
date. Kasi ang warrant of arrest, yan na talaga ang wala. Kailangan mo lang mag-report within 10 days. Pero ang search warrant, ito talaga ang merong expiration within 10 days. So, di ba, the court where application for search warrant shall be applied, sabi nga niya. An application for search warrant shall be filed in the following. Any court, okay, whose territorial jurisdiction of a crime was committed, for compelling reasons stated in the application, any court within judicial region, di ba? Or however, if the criminal action has already been filed, the application shall only be made when the court where the criminal action is pending. Always, kapag nag-apply kayo ng search warrant, kailangan yung kino-consider yung territorial jurisdiction. For example, magkakanda ka ng search warrant sa San Fernando. Therefore, kung ano yung specific na municipality dun, or ano man yung MTC doon, or RTC sa mismong San Fernando, dun ka mag-a-apply. Okay? Unless otherwise, nagkaroon na ng criminal action. For example, kasi ang search warrant, pwedeng gawin yan if hindi pa nasasampahan ng tao or nasampahan na siya ng kaso. Kapag nagkaroon na ng criminal action, for example, nasampahan siya ng kaso, naka-detain na siya. Therefore, mag-a-apply ka na lang ng search warrant doon sa court kung saan na-apply yung mismong kaso. Pero as long as possible na hindi pa talaga napapasa yung kaso sa mismong court, therefore, you need to consider its territorial jurisdiction. For example, ganito. Sabihin natin si Michelle Batican is nag-commit siya ng crime sa pagiging chismosa. Sige. So, sabihin na natin na sinampahan na siya ng kaso. Ay, hindi. Kinuha pa lang siya ng police officer. Di ba meron tayong CGS? Police officer, prosecution, and then court. Di ba? Alam nyo yan. So, for example, nasa police officer pa lang siya. So, naka-detain pa lang siya doon. So, therefore, okay, kapag magkakandak ka ng, for example, ng ating search warrant, saan mo siya ipapasa? Saan mo siya ipapasa kung nakatira si Michelle Batica sa San Fernando? Dapat, di ba, kung yung area na San Fernando na merong RTC or MTC doon. Naintindihan? Ngayon, for example, sinampahan na ng kaso si Michelle Batican, kaso sinampahan siya ng kaso sa Cavite kasi doon siya nagchismis. O what will happen? Saan ka magsasampa ng search warrant niyan? Doon sa mismong MTC or RTC ng Cavite. Kasi doon siya sinampahan ng kaso. Naiintindihan po ba? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
napakadali lang yan. Next. Next na tayo, ha? So, personal property to be seized. Ano naman yung mga kinukuha natin? Ano ba yung mga siniseize natin when we conduct a search warrant? A search warrant may be issued for the search and seizure of personal property for the subject of the offense, ayan, stolen or embezzled and on other proceeds, and used or intended to be used as the means of committing an offense. Ito, what are the requisites for issuing a search warrant? Ano yung mga requisites para i-issue ni judge ang search warrant? A search warrant shall not issue except upon probable cause. Okay, in connection with one specific offense to be determined personally by the judge after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce. And particularly describing the place, diba? And the things to be seized which may be anywhere in the Philippines. Always remember, in asking for a search warrant, hindi yan i-issue ni judge unless there is a probable cause. Unless meron ng witnesses or anything na complaint na nagpakita na ng motive or parang nagsasampa na ng kaso doon sa ating mismong case. Now, sa search warrant din po, kailangan very detailed siya, di ba? Ano yung very detailed niya? Kailangan nakalagay doon saan specific na lugar ka hahanapin. At saka saan mo siya, ano yung kukuhanin mo doon sa lugar na yon. Ano yung hinahanap mo. Ang search warrant, hindi ibig sabihin na may search warrant kami sa'yo. Ganun lang. Hindi po. Kailangan nakadescribe doon saan dito, okay, ano yung kukuhanin mo. Intindihan. Next. So, what is your right to break a door or window to effect a search? The officer, okay, if refuse admittance to the place of directed search after giving notice of his purpose and authority, he may break open any outdoor or inner door or window of the house or any part of the house or anything therein to execute the warrant or liberate himself or any person lawfully aiding him when unlawfully detained therein. Ang nangyayari kasi dito, di ba kapag nagkanta ka ng search warrant, kakatok ka. Tapos di ba nga kailangan may witnesses ka pa. Di ba? At least meron kang 2 witnesses, di ba? So, dapat nandun yung may-ari ng bahay or kung kanino man property yon. And then, meron ka ding witness coming from the media or minsan yung mga barangay officials, di ba? Ngayon, kapag kanwari kumatok ka na, sinabi mo na yung dahilan ba't ka ba't ka magsa-search warrant, pinakita mo na yung search warrant mo, the probable cause, in-explain mo na. Ngayon, ayaw ka pa rin pagbuksan ng pinto or kahit bintana para papasukin ka. And then, therefore, pwede ka na, meron kang karapatan, alam yung mga sapilitan na pumapasok sila para mag-conduct ng search warrant, eto na yon. So, they have the right to break door or window to effect the search. Lalo na kung pinakita naman ang search warrant. So, what is the time of making search? Okay, the warrant must direct is to be served in daytime unless the affidavit asserts that the property is on the person or in the place ordered to be searched, in which case direction may be inserted that it served may be any time of the day or night. So, as much as possible, kailangan kapag nagkakandak tayo ng search warrant, kailangan daytime. But, unless otherwise, okay, the law may be say so, okay, minsan pinapayagan nila na gabi, any time of day or night, lalo na sa complication or pagka-complex ng kaso. Naintindihan? Pero as much as possible, ang recommended nila sana is always a daytime. How about in making an arrest? Kailan ka pwedeng mag-take ng an arrest? How about, kayo nga, sige nga, Josel Julian Balingit. Josel.
Hello po, ma'am.
Kailan ka pwedeng mag-take ng arrest? Kailan? How about si John Harley Kaliwag? John Harley Kaliwag? Kung wala ka dito, then i-remove na kita. At the count of 3, 2, 1. John Harley Kaliwag. You're not answering then, therefore I will remove you. Next. Ivan Danting. Ivan Danting. Hindi rin sumasagot. Ivan Danting. You're not answering, then I will remove you here. Sige, tingnan natin, lalo na mga hindi naka-open ng camera. Remove. Yan. How about Kier Justin Balagtas?
Ma'am,
Kailan ka mag-a-arrest?
makakapag-conduct ka ng arrestment, ma'am, pag may may warrant of arrest ka na, ma'am?
Okay, ang tanong, kung meron ka ng warrant of arrest, kailan, anong oras ka pwedeng mag-arrest?
Hanggat valid yung warrant of arrest, ma'am, pwede ka mag-conduct ng ganun.
Anong oras? May oras ba?
Di ako sure, ma'am.
Kunwari holiday, hindi ka pwedeng mag-conduct ng arrest?
Anytime po.
Di ko sure, ma'am, eh. Pero
Sure, so, paano? How about you, Adonis Bato? Adonis Bato, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Kailan ka mag-a-arrest? May oras ba? For example, holiday, di ka pwede mag-take ng arrest?
Pwede naman po, ma'am, kasi po, may awa ka naman po na warrant of arrest. Anytime po, pwede ka po mag-arrest, ma'am.
Okay, always remember, Clear Justin Balagtas, okay? When you are taking a warrant of arrest, naturo naman niya sa CLO 112 mo, okay? Na it is any time of the day and night, even on Sundays or holidays. Okay po? Kaya nga, di ba, example ko pa nga nun, kahit nagsi-CR ka pa, okay, kung huhulihin ka ng mga pulis, huhulihin ka. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, ay, aguli mo, boss, bukas mo na ako muhulihan, mag-CR ko pa. Masakit quote yan. Alimaanta na eh. Naintindihan ba? Balagtas. Ha? Hindi ko sure, hindi ko sure. Babagsak ka sa lomo niyan. Basic yan. Okay, next.
No, may question po ako.
Yes, what is your question?
Ma'am, pagka po ba nagano ng search warrant pwede pong ulitin yun? Pagka po merong isang bagay na hindi napuntahan,
Mag-a-apply ulit.
mag-a-apply po.
Kasi di ba nga sabi natin, a search warrant shall be valid for 10 days from its date. Pero, tawag dito, minsan lang siya. Di ba? Diniscuss mo rin yan ng CLO 112 nyo. It should be only once. For example, nag-conduct ka na ng search warrant. Tapos, mamaya-maya, kabalik mo ng police station. Nakalimutan ko yung isang cabinet. Nakalimutan ko in-open. Diba? Tanong, pwede ka bang bumalik? Hindi po. Kailangan mag-apply ka muna ng search warrant. Kasi ang search warrant could be served only once. Diba? Intindihan?
Yes, ma'am.
Next. So, the receipt of the property seize. So, saan mapupunta yung mga property? Or bakit merong resibo? The officer seizing property under warrant must give the detailed receipt for the same to lawful occupant of the premises in whose presence the search and seizure were made. So, in absence of such occupant, it must be in the presence of at least 2 witnesses. Diba? Sinabi sa inyo, kailangan may 2 witnesses of sufficient age and discretion residing the same locality leave a receipt in the place in which they found the seized property. Diba kapag nag-conduct sila ng search and seizure, kapag nag-search sila and then meron na silang nakuha na gamit, lahat ng kukuhanin nilang gamit yon nakaresibo. Okay po? Nakaresibo yan. Kung ano lahat ng nakita nila at ano yung mga kinuha nila. At lahat ng kinuha nilang yon, yung receipt, a copy of receipt of that, will be given to the lawful occupant or kung sino man ang nakatira doon or kung sino man ang may-ari ng bahay na yon. Para alam nila kung anong nakita nila, saan nila nakita at ano ang kinuha nila. Okay po. So, in case na wala yung may-ari, in case na wala yung mismong tumitira doon, kailangan mag-conduct ka ng search still with the presence of at least, sabi ko nga sa inyo, 2 witnesses. Sometimes ginagamit nila ang media, sometimes ginagamit nila yung mga barangay officials. So, search incident to lawful arrest. Ito naman, nagkakandak sila ng arrest, nagkakandak sila ng search without, parang warrantless search, sabi nga niya. A person lawfully arrested, for example, nakuha ka, with the course of warrant of arrest, may be searched for dangerous weapons or anything which may have been used or constitute proof in the commission of an offense without search warrant. So sometimes, for example, on the spot, nahuli ka, merong warrant of arrest sa'yo. Therefore, meron tayong tinatawag na warrantless search, wherein pwede ka nilang i-search kahit wala yung search warrant. Lalo na kung ano naman siya, incident to a lawful arrest or parang meron namang connection doon sa nagawa mong crime. Intindihan po. So, doon pa lang tayo pwede mag-conduct ng search ng walang search warrant. Ito, diba? Ito pa yung iba. Lawful warrantless searches and seizures. Kailan pa nagkakandak ng mga search and seizures na kahit walang warrant? So, warrantless search and seizures are lawful under any of the following circumstances. When there is a consent or waiver. For example, tinanong mo naman yung isang tao na isa-search kita individually, physically. Ayan, pwede. Pwede bang pumasok sa bahay mo maghanap ng ganito kahit walang search warrant? Ayan. So, to be valid waiver, the right must exist. So, the owner must be aware of such right, diba? And he must have intention to relinquish it. So, for example, ikaw, naglalakad ka lang sa daan. Tapos, sabi ng police officer, pwede ba kitang search? Sabi niya ganyan, kasi meron akong hinahanap na crime weapon, baka ikaw yun. So, if wala naman siyang search warrant, therefore, pwede mong tanggihan yan. Okay, pwede mong tanggihan yan. Kasi wala naman siyang search warrant. Pero, sabi nga niya, kapag kinonsent mo yun, therefore, kung ano man ang nakita niya sa'yo, okay, it would be lawful. Kasi nga, nagbigay ka ng consent. Next, when evidence to be seized is in a plain view, so the discovery of the evidence must be inadvertent or unintentional. Ito. So, kapag naman nakakita ka ng, for example, mag-ano ka sa parking lot, sabihin mo ng police officer ka, tapos, pauwi ka na, nakakita ka ng isang sasakyan, kaso hindi tinted, okay? Hindi tinted yung car niya. So, therefore, may nakita ka na parang abasyo ng shabu, saka marijuana dun sa upuan. So, syempre, plain view na yan, nakikita mo nga siya. Pag sinabing plain view, sa hindi mo inaasahang pagkakataon kahit wala kang search warrant, okay? Nandyan yung evidence. Hindi mo siya kakalkalin, hindi mo siya hinanap. Nakikita mo na siya. Okay, that is evidence in plain view. Therefore, pwede mong i-conduct ang search and seizure nun. Kahit wala kang search warrant. Kasi di ba hindi ka naman pwedeng maggalugad ng sasakyan nang wala kang search warrant. Diba? So, kung nakita mo naman na plain view, kasi nga sabi ko nga, hindi tinted yung car niya, nandun lang sa upuan, nakikita mo. Therefore, you can conduct a search and seizure. Next, diba? Custom search or searches made at airports, seaports, ayan. Kahit, syempre, hindi naman nila alam kung sinong darating sa mga airport, seaport, diba? Alang-alang isa-isa pa, magkakaroon mo, i-apply mo na ng search warrant yan. So, therefore, pwede nilang i-search yan. So, kahit walang warrant, search warrant. Search of a moving vehicle, ayan, may be without a warrant because it would be impracticable to secure a warrant before engaging in hot pursuit. For example, tumatakas yung mismong sasakyan, carnap or so whatever, pwede yan. So, routine searches made on the interest of national security such as border checks or checkpoints, ayan. Kapag nagkakandak sila sa mga national waters natin, diba? Sa national security, yung mga exit and entry points ng Philippines, diba? Pinalilibutan tayo ng Philippine waters, ayan. So, minsan, yung mga mismong barko doon, kung sino man or barko, or bangka, or anumang sasakyang pangdagat ang nakita nila doon, kapag nakita nilang papasok yan sa Philippines, ayan, magkakandak sila ng search kahit wala pong search warrant doon sa mismong sasakyan na yon. Bakit? Kasi papasok na sila sa Philippines. So, meron silang karapatan. Diba? Kasi nga, it is for the national security. Ito, stop and search or stop and freeze. Ayan, where search precedes the arrest and is allowed on the grounds of a reasonable suspicion. So, parang yung kanina lang dito, search incident to lawful arrest. And then, search incidental to a lawful arrest, again, yun nga, kapag hinuli mo yung isang tao, meron siyang warrant of arrest or sabihin na natin, nahuli siya in the due course of warrantless arrest, still, pwede mo siyang i-conduct ng search kahit wala pong search warrant. Next, in search of vessels or parang yung kanina lang, kung sa watercraft, yan naman pwede rin sa aircraft or anything na mobility in the national security. And the last one is exigent circumstances. It was proposed by Justice Reynato Puno. Okay? It is an exemption as a catch-all category that would encompass a number of diverse situations where some kind of emergency makes obtaining a search impractical, useless, dangerous, or unnecessary. So, minsan, kapag meron talagang mga circumstances na kailangan i-conduct ang search, even though walang search warrant. Naintindihan po. Next, seizure. Again, pag sinabi natin seizure, it is the confiscation of the object or a thing or your personal property. So, huwag na natin yung i-discuss masyado. Raids. Yan. Sa raid tayo. Ano ang meron sa raids? So, what is the purpose of raids? The purpose of raid is usually to effect an apprehension. Kapag sinabi bang raid, ano pinagkaiba ng raid sa search warrant tsaka sa warrant of arrest? Sige nga.
Kasi yung raid po, ma'am, ginagawa ng biglaan, ma'am. Yung search warrant po, ng sa tao.
Biglaan ng mga warrant of arrest at saka search
Information.
warrant. Biglaan siya.
Hindi po.
Kapag raids, ganito. Kapag raids, hindi alam mismo nung taong pupuntahan mo or bahay na in-search mo. Kapag kasi search warrant of arrest, kailangan meron mo na siyang paper. Para
Yun nga po.
Okay. So, the purpose of a raid is usually to effect an apprehension. To obtain evidence of illegal activity by surprising. Yun nga, di ba? By surprising the offenders in flagrante delicto or caught in the act. And then, to recover the stolen property. So, what is the basic requirement in the conduct of raid? Hindi naman everyday pwedeng mag-conduct ng raid ang police. So, generally, all police operation, diba? Arrest, raid, search, and seizure, and checkpoint shall be conducted with a marked police vehicle. Siyempre, kailangan pag pupunta ka doon, gamit mo talaga yung, alam mo na, sasakyan na yan ng pang-police vehicle. So, it preferably led by a commission officer. Pag sinabi natin commission officer, ito yung mga, hindi na patrolman. Ito na yung mga dito, yung mga, insignia niya. Okay? And then, with personnel in the proper police uniform. So, malamang naka-delta yan. Diba? Yung mga pang-gear nila. And then, exemption to this rule. So, when using a marked police vehicle, it will be jeopardize the safety of raiding team and will greatly affect the success of the operation. Sometimes kasi, yung mga nag-raid, hindi nila ginagamit yung mga marked vehicle ng police. Bakit? Eh, what if nasa barangay ka pa lang? Nandun pala siya sa entrance ng barangay, meron silang watch out doon. Uy, pre, may dumaan na pulis. Pag nakita nilang pulis, sigurado mamanduhan na niya yung mga ibang mga kakilala niya. For example, nakatira pala sila doon sa dulo ng barangay. Bago pa makarating yung pulis doon, na-inform na nung mga nakakita. Kaya minsan, kapag nagkakandak sila ng raid, hindi na nila ginagamit yung kanilang police vehicle. Para maging hindi siya kahina-hinala. Kasi minsan, matalino yung mga kriminal. Sabi nga natin, di ba, napaka-organized sila. May mga watch out yung mga nakita nila na, ikaw magbantay doon sa mismong kanto baka may papasok na pulis dito para makapag-ready kami. Diba? So, that is the tinatawag nating search and seizure warrant of arrest. So, punta na tayo dito sa theft and robbery. So, theft. Ano bang pinagkaiba ng theft sa robbery? Hindi pa ba na-discuss sa law nyo to? Hindi pa po ba? Hindi pa. So, ito. What is the difference between theft and robbery. So, who are liable for theft? Theft is committed by any person who with intent to gain, but without violence. Always remember, when you are committing a theft, it is without violence against or intimidation of person, nor force upon things. It shall take personal property of another without the latter's consent. Siyempre, paano magiging nakaw pa rin yan kung merong consent mo, di ba? Oy, pre, nanakawin ko yung wallet mo. Siyempre, always walang consent yan. Okay, anong pinagkaiba ng theft and robbery? Ito lang, violence. Kapag ang pagnanakaw nakuha without violence, that is a theft. Pero if meron niyang violence, that is a robbery. Example, okay, naglalakad ka sa daan, biglang wala na yung wallet mo, hindi mo namamalayan, that is theft. Pickpocketing. Diba? That is theft. Bakit? Sinaksak ka ba? Pinagbantaan ka ba na makukuha yung wallet mo? Hindi. Diba? Kapag naman, okay, habang naglalakad ka, tinakot ka, tinutukan ka ng barel, tinutukan ka ng, parang hinold up ka, or parang yan, hold up to. Tinatakot ka, that is robbery. Naintindihan yung pinagkaiba niyan? Sa theft, wala siyang violence. Kapag naman robbery, meron siyang violence. Pareho silang taking another property of another without consent. Siyempre, hindi yan magiging nakaw, hindi yan magiging anything na nakaw if meron siyang consent mo. Naintindihan po? Again, kapag, kanwari, pickpocketing lang, dumalakad ka sa daan, tapos biglang nawala ang wallet mo, kasi tas-tas na yung bag mo without you knowing, diba? That is, again, that is theft. Pero kapag kanwari, tinakot ka muna, diba?
Robbery.
That is robbery.
Robbery.
As simple as that. Ganun lang po ang pinagkaiba ng theft at robbery. Pero still, pareho lang sila na pagnanakaw. Okay. So, theft is likewise committed by any person having found lost property shall fail to deliver at the same to the local authorities or to its owner. Parang pag nawala ang property mo. Any person, after having maliciously damaged the property of another, shall remove or make use of the fruits or object of the damage caused by him. Any person who shall enter an enclosed state or field where to trespass is forbidden or which belongs to another and without the consent of its owner shall hunt or fish upon the same or shall gather cereals or other foreigners of war. Ito kasi, minsan, theft rin to. For example, nakapulot ka ng cellphone. Ito, madalas na ginagawa niyo. Or cellphone, wallet, or so what. Kapag yung napulot mong cellphone or wallet, ganyan, hindi mo binalik sa may-ari, that is considered theft. Yan. Theft po yan. Kasi hindi mo binalik sa local authorities or sa owner. So, kahit hindi mo sinasadyang ninakaw mo yan or so whatever, dahil nakita mo, hindi mo binalik sa may-ari, hindi mo binalik sa mga police station or so whatever, that is considered theft. Bakit? May force ba doon sa napulot mo? Wala. Nakita mo lang siya. Pero you have the responsibility to ibalik yon. So, that is theft. Ito, sabi niya, any person who after having maliciously damaged the property of another shall remove or make use of the present. Ito yung mga sinasabi ko sa quote, yung pickpocketing na kanwari, inano mo yung mismong bag niya. Diba? Do hindi nasaktan yung mismong tao, hindi niya nalaman yan, pickpocketing. Diba yung nangyayari sa divisor or so what? Binubutas na yung bag nyo, and then kukuhanin nila yung wallet. So that is a theft. Kasi hindi alam ng tao eh. Hindi naman siya nasaktan or hindi niya alam na na-threat siya or so whatever. Next, eto, sabi niya, any person who shall enter enclosed state. For example, pupunta ka sa isang bahay. Pero wala ka namang sinira kanina doon sa bakuran lang nila. Wala kang sinira, hindi mo sinira ang gate nila, kinuha mo yung mga kangkong nila doon or so whatever na bunga ng nila, that is also a theft. Kasi wala namang forced entry. Always remember, kapag may forced entry, may violence, doon pa lang siya nako-considered as robbery. Pero kapag ang pagnanakaw ginawa nilang smooth, na wala namang nasira, walang masyadong walang force or anything na violence, that is a theft. Kanwari, pumunta ka sa isang bahay, nakita mo yung mga mangga nila, kinuha mo, wala kasing aso. Diba? Wala ding nagbabantay, binuksan mo lang yung gate. Ang ginawa mo parang nag-trespassing ka lang. Pero binuksan mo lang yung gate, hindi mo naman sinira yung gate. Tapos kinuha mo yung mga mangga kasi abot kamay lang naman yung mga mangga. That is a theft. Pero kung kunwari ang ginawa mo, sinira mo muna yung gate nila, yung padlock nila, ayan, then that is a robbery. Kasi meron ng forced entry or forcible entry. Nakita niyo yung pinagkaiba? Nagigets nyo na yan. Okay. So, what is a qualified theft? Ano yung sinatawag nilang qualified theft? The crime of theft shall be punished by the penalties next higher by 2 degrees than those respectively specified in the next preceding article if committed by domestic servant. Pag sinabing domestic servant, ito yung kasama nyo sa bahay. Kapag ang ipagnanakaw, ginawa yan ng isang domestic servant, ibig sabihin parang pinagkakatiwalaan nyo, di ba? Or with grave abuse of confidence. Kaya sabi niya, or if the property stolen is motor vehicle, mail matter, or large cattle, or consists of coconuts taken from the premises of the plantation, or fish taken from fish pond or fishery of if property taken on the occasion of fire, earthquake, typhoon, volcanic operation, any other calamity, vehicular accident, or civil disturbance. Ganun siya nagiging qualified theft. For example, may kasambahay kayo. Alam niyo yung mga nagnanakaw na kasambahay. That, kung ano man nang ninakaw niya sa inyo, kasi nga, with a grave abuse of confidence, kasi nga pinagkatiwala mo sa kanya. Then, therefore, that is a qualified theft. Nakuha po. Kasi bakit po? Nasa bahay mo na nga eh. Kasama mo yung sa bahay. Therefore, wala kang makitang ano yan. Wala kang makita na trespassing or whatsoever dyan. Meron siyang access. Pag sinabing meron siyang grave abuse of confidence, therefore, pinagkatiwalaan mo siya. Therefore, meron talaga siyang access. Pero, ang nangyari, ninakaw niya sa'yo. That is a qualified theft. Parang sa kumpanya. Diba? Meron kang pinagkakatiwalaan na treasurer mo or so what. Pero, kinuha niya yung funds nyo, ninakaw niya. That is a qualified theft. Naintindihan po. Ngayon, kapag, for example, in case of, yung, kanwari, nagkaroon ng mga emergency, yung mga hindi natin maiwasan, yung mga earthquake, typhoon, volcanic eruption, alam niyo yung mga nagnanakaw, di ba madalas yan, kanwari, nagkagulo na sa isang bayan, tapos naguho yung buong municipality, di ba minsan papasok sila sa mga grocery item or so 7-Eleven, tapos kukuha sila ng mga pagkain nila. So that is considered also as a qualified theft. Naintindihan yan. Do you follow? Hello? Do you follow? Next. Robbery. Tuturo
Yes,
din
ma'am.
naman sa inyo to kapag ano na dun sa loto nyo. I know, itinuturo yan. Robbery. Ito na. So, who are guilty of robbery? Any person with intent to gain shall take any personal property belonging to another by means of what? Violence, ayan, or intimidation, or any person using force upon anything. Ayan, using force upon anything. Katulad nga na sabi ko, sisirain mo yung gate, sisirain mo yung padlock. Therefore, that is a robbery. Okay po. So, elements of robbery, there be a personal property belonging to another. There is an unlawful taking of that property. The taking must be with intent to gain, and there is a violence, diba? Against intimidation upon any person or force upon anything. Kapag nag-aaral kayo ng law, okay? Ito tips ko lang sa inyo. Kasi ako, favorite ko ang law. Masarap kayang pag-aralan ng law. Kaya minsan naisip ko, ba't kayo nahihirapan? Nahihirapan mag-aral ng law. Madali po pag-aralan ng law. Lalo na kapag sa mga elements. Okay? Ganito kailangan yung chine-check lagi yung elements ng isang law. Kasi dito siya nagdi-differ. Di ba nga sabi nga natin, parang para-pareho lang yung batas. Pero merong isa na magdi-differ sa kanila. And that is the elements. Bakit ano po ba yung elements, ma'am? When we say elements, these are the acts na sinasabi niya para ma-constitute ang isang crime. Okay? These are the acts na kino-consider mo. Kunwari yan, paano mo makakonsider na robbery ang isang bagay kapag ito yung ginawa niya? For example, yan, alam mo may nagnanakaw. Robbery and theft, alam mo pag nanakaw. Pero anong pinagkaiba nila? Paano mo sila malalaman? Di ba sa element sila? Sa robbery at saka theft, parehong meron silang element na taking of property of another person. Saan ang pinagkaiba nilang element? Dun sa element ng theft, walang force. Diba? Pero sa element ng robbery, meron siyang force. Ganun lang, na huwag nyo masyadong hirapan ang sarili sa pag-aaral ng law. Okay? Ang law, mas maganda siya pinag-aaralan kung hindi nyo i-memorize. I will tell you. Okay? I'm just giving some, tawag dito, binibigyan ko lang kayo ng advice. Kasi, marami akong naririnig na rants na nahihirapan daw sila mag-aral ng law. Huwag nyong i-memorize kasi ang law. Okay? Huwag nyong i-memorize. Sa dami-dami ng law, kakapal ng book niyan, hindi nyo siya i-memorize. Pero kung iintindihan nyo, when you're going to understand it, and parang i-familiarize nyo lang sarili nyo, ako ginagawa ko, nilalagyan ko ng action or nag-create ako ng senaryo. Kasi kung hindi mo siya i-create ng senaryo sa utak mo, hindi mo siya mai-imagine or hindi mo maintindihan. Diba? Kung only memorization ka lang. So, ganun lang po siya, para hindi kayo nahihirapan. Kaya, di ba, pag nagbibigay ako sa inyo ng discussion na gano'n, gusto ko meron muna siyang scenario or parang example, para mas madali siyang intindihin. Kasi kung babasahin mo lang siya, hindi mo siya na-discuss, and then try to discuss it in yourself. That is one way also of understanding things in law. Kailangan na i-explain mo siya ikaw mag-isa. Kasi kung ikaw mismo, hindi mo siya ma-explain by your own, therefore, hindi mo siya maintindihan. Diba? Kasi ikaw mismo, hindi mo siya ma-explain Pero kung kanya na-explain mo sa sarili mo, nakakwento mo, ganito yung pinagkaiba ng robbery, ganito yung pinagkaiba ng theft. Therefore, hindi mo naman siya memorize, pero dahil naiintindihan mo, kaya mo siyang i-explain. Alam niyo, one test, okay? One test of kung naiintindihan mo ng isang bagay or hindi, if you can explain it on your own words. If you cannot explain it in your own words, therefore, hindi mo siya naiintindihan. Again, you don't need to memorize everything, but you need to understand and analyze. That is the key in studying law subjects. Naiintindihan niyo po ba ako? So, I'm just giving you some tips para hindi kayo masyadong nababurden dyan sa mga law subjects nyo. Naiintindihan po? Hello? Next.
Hi.
Robbery with violence or intimidation of person. Any person of
Yes, ma'am.
robbery with the use of violence against or intimidation of any person shall suffer. Okay. The penalty of reclusion perpetua to death when the person or on occasion of the robbery, the crime of homicide shall have been committed. Kapag, for example, nagnakaw ka, tapos in the commission of your robbery and pinatay mo yung mismong owner, siguro nagnanakaw ka sa bahay, meron kang forcible entry, tapos in the occupation of your biglang nandun yung taong may-ari ng bahay, tapos pinatay mo siya. So in commission of your robbery, pinatay mo isang tao. Therefore, ang magiging penalty mo nun, reclusion perpetua. So, inalis lang tong death, pero ang reclusion perpetua ngayon is yung parang 20 years to 40 years into life imprisonment. Diba? So, the penalty of reclusion temporal in its medium period to reclusion perpetua when the robbery shall have been accompanied by rape or intentional mutilation. For example, nagnakaw ka na, tapos nirape mo pa yung isang tao doon. Or intentional mutilation, or parang may kinat ka sa kanya. Or if by reason of or any occasion of such robbery, any physical injury. For example, hindi mo naman nga siya pinatay pero binigyan mo siya ng physical injury. Therefore, that is reclusion temporal. Alam niyo naman siguro yung kung ilang years ang reclusion temporal. That is 12 years to, tama ba? If I'm not mistaken, 20 years ba? O mali? I do not remember, pero meron yan. Alam niyo naman yung pinagkaiba ng reclusion perpetua to temporal. So, kapag, kunwari, in course of committing robbery, pinatay mo yung isang tao, reclusion perpetua. Pero if in cause of robbery, pero nagbigay ka ng physical injury lang doon sa tao, hindi mo siya pinatay, that is reclusion temporal. Naintindihan po? Next. The penalty of reclusion temporal when a person, by reason, diba, occasion, robbery, physical injuries, yun nga, reclusion temporal. The penalty of prison mayor, okay? In its maximum period to reclusion temporal in its medium period, if the violence or intimidation employed in the commission of robbery shall have been carried to degree clearly unnecessary for the commission of crime, or when the course of execution. So the offender shall have inflicted upon any person not responsible responsible for its commission or any physical injuries covered by this section. So again, kapag naman siguro hindi naman nag-inflict pa ng anything na physical injuries, then therefore, prison mayor at its maximum period po ang ibibigay sa kanya. Kanwari, simpleng nagnakaw lang siya, robbery, without causing any physical injuries. Ito, robbery with physical injuries committed in an uninhabited place by a van or with the use of firearm on a street, road, or alley. Ano yung uninhabited place? Pag sinabing uninhabited place, these are the places wherein wala talagang nakatira. Okay po, walang nakatira. If the offenses mentioned in subdivisions 3, 4, and 5 of the next preceding article should have been committed in an uninhabited place by a van. Pag sinabing by a van, madami kayo, group of magnanakaw kayo. Diba? Attacking or moving a train, ayan, street car, motor vehicle, or airship, or by entering passengers' compartments in a train or in any manner taking the passengers thereof by surprise in the respective conveyance on a street or road or alley, and the intimidation is made with the use of firearm, the offender shall be punished by the maximum period of the proper penalties. Yung mga nang-hold up, for example, kaya nga diba yung robbery, sabi, for example, pumunta sila sa mismong kotse, taxi, sumakay sila ng taxi. Kapag doon nagkantak sila ng hold up, yan, that is a form of robbery po. Pag sinabing uninhabited place, it's either abandon yung place or it's a moving vehicle or moving any type of vehicle. Pwede sa barko, pwede po sa tawag dito, pwede sa barko, pwedeng sa daan, or so any type of craft. Naintindihan? Basta merong force. Nagnakaw sila with force. That is considered as a robbery. Pwede nga yan sa train or pwede rin yan sa bus. Ayan. So, definition of a ban. Paano mo sabi yung ban? And a penalty incurred by the members thereof. When there are more than 3 armed malefactors, then therefore it is considered as a ban. More than 3. Therefore, it is 4. Hindi mo sabing ban yan kung hindi siya 4. Okay? When more than 3 armed malefactors take part in the commission of a robbery, it shall be deemed to have been committed by a ban. Alin nyo, isa pa sa mga napapansin ko, ito ha, isa pa sa mga napapansin ko sa law subject. Pag nagbabasa kayo, minsan ginagawa niya pang complicated. Kasi pag sinabi niyang more than 3, minsan nalilito ka, ang isipin mo, 3 lang siya. Tama ba? Pero kung babasahin mo ng maiintindihan, mahilig sila sa ganyan mga ganyang sentence, more than 3. But nila sinabi na, when it's conducted by a 4 person, then directly isipin mo 4 person na siya, di ba? Pero kasi madalas po sa mga law subjects nyo, okay? Ganito siya, medyo komplikado siya. And be careful. Hindi niya sinasabi yung exact dates. Diba? Kanwari, meron siyang up to 60 days or parang not less than 60 days or not more than 60 days. Hindi niya sinasabi yung exact day. Meron siyang gumagamit na more than and less than, which is minsan nakakalito sa bata. Kung ako yung gagawa ng law subject na exam, diba? Parang, sabi ko, talagang lilituhin ko sila. Pwedeng more than and less than Pag sinabi niya more than 3, therefore, ilan ang bilang? 4. Tama po? So, kung babasahin natin to, sinasabi niya dyan, kailangan, ang mako-considered pa lang natin na ban yan if it is conducted by a 4 person. Pero, if looking at this, nagkakaroon kasi siya ng misinterpret sa mga students. Diba? Tama ba ako or hindi? Na may misinterpret kayo. Bakit? Kasi nakita mo yung word na 3. Pero kung iintindihin mo yung sentence, it is a more than 3. Therefore, it is a 4. So, pag nagbabasa kayo ng law subjects nyo, basahin nyo mabuti yung mga more than, less than na yan, lalo na sa mga days. Okay po? Kasi minsan, nililito nila kayo. Tinanong ko na yan dati sa law teacher ko. Bakit kapag sa mga law subjects, ginagamit mo na lang more than 3, less than 3, tapos tuloy, nalilito kami. Kala namin ay 3. Ba't hindi nila sabihin na 2? Diba? Ba't hindi nila sabihin exact? Sabi niya, it is for you to understand and analyze. Kasi dyan nga siya, di ba? Doon mo, tignan mo, ikaw, napansin mo yon. Pero kung hindi ka talaga nag-a-analyze or hindi mo iniintindihin yung binabasa mo, therefore, hindi mo naiintindihan ng isang batas. Nakita nyo? Di ba? So, when any of the arms used in the commission of the offense be an unlicensed firearm, or yung mga palyado, hindi naman na, meron tawag dyan, di ba? Paltik ba? Paltik, kada, dek, ng Kapampangan. Retang firearms na walang lisensya. Paltik ba? Tama ba ako? So, the penalty to be imposed upon the malefactors, di ba, shall be maximum of the corresponding penalty provided by the law without prejudice of criminal liability for illegal possession of such unlicensed firearms. So, kapag it is already conducted by a bond and then it is conducted also of using unlicensed firearm, then another law or another crime po yung paggamit ng unlicensed firearm. So, pwedeng maging liable siya doon sa RA 10591. Okay po? So, attempted and frustrated robbery committed under certain circumstances. When by reason or on occasion of an attempted or frustrated robbery, a homicide is committed, the person guilty of such offense shall be punished reclusion temporal in its maximum period to reclusion perpetua unless the homicide committed shall deserve a higher penalty under the provision of the code. O, kapag merong attempted or frustrated, ayan na. So, yun lang ang magiging penalty niya. Execution of deeds by means of violence or intimidation. Any person who intend to defraud another, ayan, by means of violence or intimidation, ay yung panloloko mo by means of force, violence, or intimidation, shall compel him to sign, execute, or deliver any public instrument or document, shall be held guilty of robbery and punished by the penalties respectively prescribed by in this chapter. So, for example, basta through intimidation, for example, pirmahan mo tong na to. Hindi ko naman siya sinaksaka. Hindi ko naman siya, tawag dito, sinaktan. Ang ginawa ko, pinilit ko lang siyang pirmahan itong kasulatan na to, itong cheque na to. Still, it is considered as robbery. Okay, kapag sinabi kasi natin for violence and intimidation, always remember there is a threat. Merong pananakot, merong force, merong pamimilit, though hindi mo siya sinasaktan physically, pero tinitreat mo naman siya or pinipilit mo, therefore, it is considered as violence or intimidation. Nakakount po siya sa robbery. Sabi niya dito sabi niya, compel him to sign. Sabi mo, pinipilit mo na pumirma. Hindi mo nga siya sinaksak or whatsoever, di ba? Pipirma lang siya. So, therefore, still it's considered as a robbery. Naintindihan po? Consider. So, robbery by use of force upon things. Ayan, ito. So, any armed person who shall commit robbery in an inhabited house or public building or edifice devoted of religious worship shall be punished by reclusion temporal. Ito. The malefactor shall enter the house and building in which robbery was committed and by any of the following means. Ito. Through a opening not intended for entrance or egress. Entrance or exit. So, kapag pumasok ang isang tao sa bahay, and either inhabited man yan or so whatever, basta hindi siya intended for entry and exit, therefore, it is considered as a robbery. So, by breaking any wall, roof, or floor, breaking any door or window, it is considered as a robbery. By using false keys, pick locks, or similar tools, that is a robbery. By using any fictitious name or pretending the exercise of public authority, that is also a robbery. Nag-defraud ka na eh. For example, bigyan ko yung senaryo. Sabihin nyo sa akin if theft or robbery. Okay? Sabihin nyo sa akin if theft or robbery. Pumasok ka sa isang bahay kasi nakabukas ang pinto. Tapos, kinuha mo yung singsing na nandun sa sala. Nakalagay lang dun sa mismong mangkok. Theft or robbery?
Robbery.
Theft lang.
Theft.
Bakit? May forcible entry?
Wala pong force.
Walang violence.
Ha? May forcible entry? Wala, theft lang yun. Bakit? Nakabukas yung pinto eh.
Without force.
Nag-trespassing ka lang. Diba? Next naman. Okay. Pumasok ka sa isang bahay. Again, yung singseng nasa mangkok lang. pumasok ka lang dun sa nakabukas na window kasi sliding window siya eh. Wala kang masira or so whatever, dun ka lang sa window pumasok. It is it a theft or a robbery?
Robbery.
Pa din po.
Robbery na siya.
Pwede po.
Robbery na siya. Bakit?
Bakit?
Ang window,
Kasi po, doon po siya dumaan sa hindi naman po dapat daanan eh.
Hindi naman siya, tawag dito, entrance and exit.
Opo.
Nakita niyo siya?
Paano pag nakabukas mo?
Robbery na yon. Bakit? Kasi ang window, okay, sabi niya, by breaking any wall, roof, floor, breaking any door or window, kahit naka-open lang yung window, dati sa robbery na. Bakit? Ang window kasi hindi naman siya kasali as entrance and exit. Doon ba talagang daanan ng tao?
Hindi po.
Hindi. Oh,
Hindi,
diba?
ma'am.
Daanan na magnanakaw.
Naiintindihan nyo na yan. What if pumasok ka, di mo nga sinira yung hindi mo nga sinira yung pinto, kaso nanakaw mo kasi, nakita mo nakalaglag yung susi nila. Hindi siya false key. Diba? Hindi mo ginaya yung susi. Nakita mo kasi, nalaglag nila last week yung susi ng bahay nila. Pero still pumasok ka using that key. Is it a theft or robbery?
Robbery, ma'am.
Robbery. Still,
Robbery.
okay po, yung key na yan, magiging false key kapag hindi mo naman sayo. So again, meron kasing definition of false key. Basahin nyo sa criminal law 2 nyo or so whatever. Sa law book 2, yung mga definition of ng mga different keys. By using any fictitious name or pretending to exercise, for example, nakapasok ka nga sa bahay, sasabihin mo, police officer ako, pinapasok ka. Okay, wala kang forcible entry. Pinapasok ka sa daan, pinapasok ka sa pinto or so whatever. Kilala ka pa nga nung sinabi mo lang is police officer ka. Tanong, robbery or theft? Theft or robbery?
Theft.
Robbery!
It's a
Robbery!
break.
Bakit? Tingnan nyo yung element niya. Using any fictitious name or pretending to exercise a public authority. Therefore, wala kang ang forcible entry, di ba? Pero nang loko ka naman by using fictitious name or by using a public authority, that is a robbery. Robbery yun. Robbery yun. Okay? Meron kang tanong, Haifa?
Wala, ma'am. Nakakalito lang po.
Di kayo malilito if, titingnan nyo nga yung elements. Sabi nga sa inyo, mas madali siyang intindihan kung magka-create kayo ng senaryo. Oh, di ba? So, naiintindihan nyo na yan, ang pinagkaiba ng robbery and theft.
Opo.
Okay. So, for example, another example. Hindi nga niya sinira yung pinto, hindi nga niya, pumakyat naman siya sa bubong. Kasi meron siyang butas doon. Is that a robbery or theft?
Robbery.
Robbery. Robbery.
Naintindihan na yan.
Yes po, ma'am.
Madali lang po intindihan ng robbery. Ito, tignan nyo. The robbery be committed any under the following circumstances. Tignan nyo. By breaking of doors, diba? Ito din, lalo na kung sinira niya yung pinto, okay? Kung sinira niya ang pinto, therefore that is, or window or so whatever, still, a robbery na yan. By taking such furniture objects to be broken or forced upon outside of the place of the robbery. Kasi hindi ko na binigay yung mga ganyan example na sinira yung mga ganyan. Kasi automatically, alam nyo ng robbery. Always remember, kapag may nasirang naganap, that is a robbery. Naintindihan? So, end of discussion. So, that's all. Do you have any questions about robbery and theft?
Kumba.
Ano yun?
Ma'am, paano po pag po may ninanakawan tapos po may nakakitang witness?